as we start the third chapter of this wonderful text, Jivan Mukti Viveka, let us all invoke the blessings of Swami Vidyaranya Ji. Also invoke the grace and blessings of our own Pujya Gurudev, so that our mind also merges in the ultimate as guided by Swami Vidyaranya Ji. Texts such as these are quite rare, in the sense it is a very hand-holding guidance is being given. Not just, that is the reality, go. Without that, how Vidyaranya Ji does that, he holds our hand and then he takes us step by step. And that's why texts like these are rare. Swami Vidyaranya Ji is a master of spoon feeding. He spoon feeds because he doesn't take any chances. He doesn't risk. He doesn't feel that I have told they will understand. No. There are three kinds of gurus, it is said. Three kinds of doctors, it is said. One is a doctor who gives you medicine and forgets about you. Second is a doctor who gives you medicine and then keeps on asking, have you taken? Have you taken? Third is a doctor who catches you or says, open your mouth. Put the medicine inside, this is the water, drink, swallow, open your mouth, let me see. And they are considered the best doctors. The same way there are three kinds of gurus. Guru number one, he tells you and he forgets you. Guru number two, who tells you and keeps a watch over you. Occasionally inquires. Guru number three says, no, you come with me, we'll go together. Swami Vidyaranya Ji is like that. He says, you come with me, we'll go together only. That way he, step by step, he takes us forward. The first chapter was Jivan Mukti Pramana Prakarana. If you look here, each of these chapters is also called a Prakarana. Say Prakarana, what we mean is, it is a complete topic by itself. The word Prakarana means topical exposition. Prakarana. Topical exposition. So a particular topic is taken and an exposition is given, then you call it as a Prakarana. Ahu Prakaranam Nama Grantha Bheda Vipaschitaha goes a famous verse, the second and the third pada. Shastraika Desha Sambadham Shastra Karyantare Stitam Ahu Prakaranam Nama Grantha Bheda Vipaschitaha. So Shastraika Desha Sambadham. Shastra Eka Desha. It doesn't cover the entire Shastra, but takes a point and then explains in detail. But Shastra Karyantare Stitam. Shastra, whatever is the ultimate purpose of the Shastra, its purpose, the Prakarana's purpose does not go tangential. Shastra Karya Antare Stitam. It serves the purpose of the Shastra. That is the meaning of Shastra Karyantare. Karya means purpose. Shastra Karya means the purpose of the Shastra. Suppose it is Vaidya Shastra, then the purpose of it is giving you good health, arogya. So in that, suppose one particular aspect is taken, say Jvara. fever. And then a textbook is written, Jvara Timira Bhaskara. That is a famous Ayurvedic text on Jvara. Right? Now what does that text do? Shastra Karyantare Sthitam. The entire Ayurveda is meant for Arogya. Jvara Timira Bhaskara is a Prakarana Grantha. But what does it do? It deals with Jvara only, no doubt. So Shastra Ekadesha Sambaddham. There are so many topics covered in Ayurveda. This is only about Jvara, fever. But then Shastra Karya Antare Sthitam. The purpose served by this text is what Jvara Timira Bhaskara is very well the same purpose served by the whole Shastra. So it is also for Arogya. Right? That is called a Prakarana Grantha. Ahu Prakaranam Nama. This is what is defined as a Prakarana Grantha. Grantha Bheda Vipaschitaha. This, the knowers of the Granthas, the knowers of the text, in this way they elaborate. The same way, if you see here, there are 4 Prakaranas. The first Prakarana is called as Jivan Mukti Pramana Prakarana. So, the entire purpose of Vedanta is to give us that liberation. Liberation could be Videha Mukti, Jivan Mukti. Now, so many topics are covered up in Vedanta, but the topic of Jivan Mukti alone is taken. Therefore, the entire text becomes a Prakarana Grantha. Alright? And even in the topic of Jivan Mukti, which itself, if you take it as a little more larger topic, within the Shastra, the subset within the main set, if you take, in that subset also, there are 3 or 4 topics. The first topic he takes up is a Pramana, that there is Jivan Mukti in the Shastra. Shastra explains the Jivan Mukti. It is not something which is not there, because people have doubts about Jivan Mukti. Only in Advaita Vedanta, Jivan Mukti is there. Any other school, there is nothing called Jivan Mukti. You have to die to become liberated. So therefore, many people do not believe it also. Even the other schools of Vedanta, if you take the Dvaita school of Vedanta or Vishishtadvaita school of Vedanta, there is nothing called Jivan Mukti for them. You can go to Vaikuntha, meaning after the fall of the body. But while living, nothing can be done. You have to suffer. You be a Bhakta, you be a Dasa, you be Dasasya Dasa. That much is possible. But you cannot be Brahman. But only Advaita Vedanta accepts Jivan Mukti. So even in the topic of Jivan Mukti, it is very important to establish that there is Jivan Mukti. Shastra says there is Jivan Mukti, and there is no problem about accepting Jivan Mukti. So that was established in the first one. In the second one onwards, the means for Jivan Mukti was taken up. The means for Jivan Mukti are Tattvajnana, Vasanakshaya, Manonasha. Tattvajnana is not elaborated here in detail in Jivan Mukti Viveka, because Jivan Mukti Viveka is supposed to be the 16th Prakarana, Panchadashi being the 1st to 15. So the entire Tattvajnana is covered by Panchadashi. And therefore, there is no specific need for Vidyaranyaji to take up separately. And also, Vidyaranyaji also mentions that Tattvajnana has been detailed in so many texts. Yes, that is true. In so many texts, Tattvajnana has been presented in great detail. And therefore, Vidyaranyaji goes to the other 2 means. One being Vasanakshaya, the other remaining one being Manonasha. Of course, he did mention that all the 3 have to be practiced simultaneously. It is not that one practices Tattvajnana first, and after Tattvajnana is finally, completed, ignore Tattvajnana now. Go to Vasanakshaya. No, you should not ignore Tattvajnana. Along with Vasanakshaya, one has to practice Tattvajnana also. So in the earlier chapter, which is chapter 2, it was Vasanakshaya Prakarana. In detail, Vasanakshaya was spoken of, and I think such a clarity of Vasanakshaya you will not find easily in any text. It is not that you don't find it, it is there. In Yoga Vasishta it is there, in Bhagavad Gita it is there, in the Upanishads it is there. But to pull them all together in one place and to give a cogent explanation of the whole topic is very rare. That demands a mastermind and a compassionate guru. And that is what you find in the second chapter. Now he comes to the second, meaning third of the means. Tattvajnana, Vasanakshaya, Manonasha. So the third means, which is to be co-practiced, Manonasha. So what is Manonasha? Manonasha is a sublimation of the mind. I am carefully avoiding the word suppression, but it is not to say that the mind is retained or anything like that. Because sometimes when we say sublimation, people have a feeling that the mind is retained. But when we say Manonasha, what we refer to is a dissolution of the mind, really speaking. But the dissolution of the mind done with clarity, not the mere ignorant way of mastering the mind, which will only lead to Jada Samadhi. Jada Samadhi is a kind of stillness which is forcibly brought upon the mind, which doesn't really serve any great purpose except than some amount of mental shanti. Okay? So when I use sublimation, I am trying to refer to not Jada Samadhi. And when I use dissolution, I am trying to refer to the absence of the mind. Absence of the mind should not be mistaken as Jada Samadhi. Right? And then, so it should not be Jada Samadhi, of course, but the stillness of the mind should not be thought of as some kind of forcible venture whereby the mind has been stilled. It has to have the background of knowledge. And therefore, if you want to say what is Manonasha, it is better to use the term dissolution of the mind. Alright? Destruction looks very harsh. Dissolution looks better in English. Anyhow, the word Nasha, the synonyms in English could be destruction, dissolution, sublimation, suppression, everything. But you should see what the exact meaning is, and that way you should understand. So, the dissolution of the mind. So, in this chapter, Vidyaranyaka takes the dissolution of the mind, Manonasha, and explains in detail. Of course, the dissolution of the mind means such as pranayama and all also are valuable. Depends on the student. If somebody finds pranayama useful for the dissolution of the mind, the Shastra permits it. All those things are also done. Starting from the mildest form and the most potent form of pranayama called prana vikshana, up to any number of varieties of pranayama which is there in the Shastra, it all depends on you. Many means are given in the Shastra according to the need of the students. Right? So what is Manonasha? How it is helpful? What are the methods for Manonasha? What is the purpose it Manonasha serves? All those things in detail Vidyaranyaka takes up. So now let us move into the text with this brief introduction. Shall we read? Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Okay. Ata Jivan Mukti Sadhanam Manonasham Nirupayamaha. I'm sure all of you have the page number and all, right? Atha, thereafter. What is the meaning of thereafter? We have already said that Tattvajnana, Manonasha, Vasanashaya have to be practiced simultaneously, of this Tattvajnana has been elaborated elsewhere. Vasanakshaya has been already covered. Thereafter, now we take up Manonasha. Atha Jivan Mukti Sadhanam, the means for Jivan Mukti. 3 means are there. The third means Manonasham. When we say third means, it is not that 1, 2, 3 serially. It is 1, 2, 3 together. Saha. Okay. Manonasham Nirupayamaha. Nirupayamaha, we shall explain in detail. We shall establish. Nirupana means to establish, but what is meant by establishes, we shall make it clear. Okay. What is the purpose served by Manonasha? Is there any specific purpose which Manonasha serves higher and above Vasanakshaya? We have seen how Vasanakshaya actually brings one to Manonasha, is it not? Chinmatra Vasana also given up. And then we saw that there is Manonasha happening, dissolution of the mind is happening. Now, what is the specific need to practice Manonasha separately? If Vasanakshaya itself can take us to Manonasha, why Manonasha as one more means? He explains. Yadyapi ashesha Vasanakshaye sati artat manaha nashyati eva tatapi swatantrena manonashe samyak abhyaste sati. Vasanakshayo rakshito bhavati. So this is the purpose served by Manonasha as a separate means. What is it? Yadyapi ashesha Vasanakshaye. Ashesha Vasanakshaye. Now what is the meaning of ashesha Vasanakshaye? Ashesha means complete. Shesha means reminder, something remaining. Ashesha means without any reminder, meaning complete. What is the meaning of complete Vasanakshaya? 3. Shubha Vasana, Chinmatra Vasana. Yadyapi Ashesha Vasanakshaye sati, when there is complete destruction of all the Vasanas. Artat manaha nashyati eva. Artat means in truth, in nature, automatically, in essence, as a natural progression. Artat manaha nashyati eva. If there is complete Vasanakshaya, Manonasha is automatically there. True. Tatapi, yet. The Shastra recommends the specific practice of Manonasha independently also. Swatantriyena, meaning separately. Manonashe, separately, when Manonasha samyak abhyaste sati. When Manonasha, the dissolution of the mind, is practiced well. Samyak abhyaste sati. Then what happens? Vasanakshaya rakshito bhavati. That Vasanakshaya, what you affected by the giving up of the Ashubha Vasana, the giving up of the Shubha Vasana, and the Chinmatra Vasana, that Vasanakshaya, what you affected. If the Vasanas will come, samsara will come. Because Vasanas, if they are there, they will not leave the mind at ease to abide in the self. Therefore, the Vasanakshaya, what you have effected with lot of effort, so much of practice was done, is it not? By giving up the Loka Vasana, by giving up the Deha Vasana, by giving up the Shastra Vasana, by giving up, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada. With so much of effort you have, by Viveka, by Indriya Nigraha, so much of Viveka, the Vasanakshaya, what you affected, is it not? if you want that Vasanakshaya to remain strong, to remain firm, Manonasha will help that. Therefore, a seeker must practice along with Vasanakshaya also Manonasha also separately. One must not in day-to-day Vyavahara and all those things, Vasanakshaya you practice. But don't stop with that. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, etc. By Viveka and Indriya Nigraha, you master that. Ashubha Vasanas, you give up. Practice Shubha Vasana. And to go further, practice Chidmatra Vasana. All those things are fine. But what you do is that along with all these practices, what you do is that you also practice Manonasha separately. You also practice Manonasha separately means what? Practice Samadhi Abhyasa. That is the thing. Along with this you practice. Tattvajnana you practice. Actually, after attaining Tattvajnana, the practice of Tattvajnana is not forgetting Tattvajnana. Practice of Tattvajnana is not again taking book and then studying and all those things. Well, a person who has got Tattvajnana can do that. But what Abhyasa of Tattvajnana is again and again allowing the mind to dwell on that reality. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Allowing the mind to dwell on that. That is the practice of Tattvajnana. Practice of Vasanakshaya we have seen. Removing Ashubha Vasana, then abiding in Shubha Vasana, then practicing the Chinmatra Vasana. All those things we have seen. That also you practice. Tattvajnana also you practice. Then the removal of the Ashubha Vasanas and the practice of Shubha Vasanas also you practice. Then along with that also you devote time for Samadhi Abhyasa or Manonasha. These three things you practice. Alright? Why? Because that Vasanakshaya what you have affected, if you want that to be in safety, you want the safety net, not safety net, you want that to be safe, then Manonasha also should be practiced. Okay? You cannot avoid that. If you, in a very simple way, if you want to tell, Tattvajnana is knowing the truth. Vasanakshaya is being noble and good. Manonasha is dissolving the mind, putting an end to mind. All these three things are required. Alright. Vasanakshaya rakshito bhavati. Now the objection is raised. What is the need to do Manonasha for Rakshana of Vasanakshaya? What is the need to dissolve the mind to keep the Vasanakshaya safe? Why can't... See, in the Vasanakshaya itself, when we were studying, there were some means which were given, is it not? Ajihva, Shandakaha, Panguhu. You remember that verse? Ajihva, Shandaka, Panguhu, Ando, Badiraye, Vacha, Mugdasya, Muchyate, Jantu, Shadbire, Tairna, Samshayaha. You remember those verses? Where it was said, na? Ajihva is what? Ajihva is one who, suppose tasty food is taking or not tasty food is taking, but the one idam ishtam na yo ashnan napi na sajjate, one who is not bound. For that mind is there, is it not? Mind is there. Eating food, whatever it is there, the person doesn't say, I like this, this is nice. This kind of mind doesn't function. Such a person is told to be Ajihva. Now, who is Shandakaha? Adya jatam yata narim tata shodasha varshikim shatavarsham chayo drishtva nirvikarasa Shandakaha. Who is an important man? An important man is a person. Now, Shastriya, okay? An important man is a person. Adya jatam yata narim. Just now born child. Shodasha varshiki. A 16-year-old lady, let us say. And Shatavarsham, 100-year-old. All the three. he sees in the same way. He doesn't find any difference. Now such a person is considered to be an important man. Important is called a yati. A person who has got these 6 properties are said to be yati. Now, if a person practices all these things, vasanakshaya can be retained, is it not? Vasanakshaya can be there. Where is the need to dissolve the mind? Itna effort karna chahiye kya? Let me practice these kind of things. Ajihvaha, Shandakaha, Pangu. Pangu means what? Pangu was said, maximum yojanatna param yati. He doesn't go more than 8 miles. Easy. I will do that. I will not go more than 8 miles. Meaning, there is no wanting to go here, there and see this and that, achieve that and that. Such a person is called as Pangu. I can do this kind of simpler things. No? It is said, with all these 6 a person gets liberated. So let me do this kind of things rather than dissolution of the mind. That is objection raised. Let us read. Nacha ajihvatva shandakatvadi abhyasena eva tad raksha siddha iti vachyam. Siddha iti vachyam. Nacha vachyam. You should not say that. You should not say what? You should not have an argument this way with me. The argument is ajihvatva, not having tongue, in the sense what we describe. Shandakatva, important. Badiratva, being deaf. Right? You remember what is being deaf? Being deaf is somebody praises you, somebody criticizes you, you are as though you don't hear that. Such a person is called Badira. Now practicing all these things, ajihvatva, shandakatvadi, abhyasena eva, by the practice of these itself. Tadraksha siddha. Tadraksha siddha. Tad is what here? Vasanakshaya. Vasanakshaya, raksha. Raksha means protection. Siddha is established. Iti vachyam. He says, that's not right. Why? He gives an answer. Let us read. Nashte manasi ajihvatvadinam artha siddhatvena abhyasa prayasa abhava. So the argument that because of the practice of ajihvatva, shandakatva, etc., vasanakshaya is maintained automatically is not valid because you have to practice ajihvatva, shandakatva and all, is it not? That the effort is there. And if you put effort, then there's a problem. Sometimes you may fail in your effort. Sometimes their effort may not be complete enough. Therefore, that is a risky business. That is risky. He says, but you see now, nashte manasi. But in case the mind is as dissolved, then there you have to practice ajihvatva, shandakatva, badiratva. Is it not? In order to maintain, in order to keep the vasanakshaya safe. But in case manonasha has happened, is there a need to practice all these things? Is there a need for that effort is not required? So it does not anymore depend upon effort. Nashte manasi, when the mind has dissolved, when there is a destruction of the mind, ajihvatvadinam, the ajihvatva and all those things what you are saying, artha siddhatvena, they are automatically there. Because you don't even have to see, nobody to see, nothing to smell, nothing to touch. Artha siddhatvena abhyasa prayasa bhavat. There is no need for the prayasa, the effort to practice all these things, because by dissolving the mind, all these things are as good as it is automatically there. Automatically there. You don't have to walk 8 kilometers, 8 miles or whatever it is, because you are just in Manonasha. You don't have to say that Adya Jatam Yata Narim Tata Shodasha Varshakim, etc., etc., because you don't even see. Bhadiratva also is automatically there because you don't hear. So this is Artha Siddha. This is called Artha Siddha, means what? It is as good as it is already there, automatically there. Okay. Therefore, the need to practice such things, Andatva, Bhadiratva, Shandakatva, all these things are not there. The need to practice is gone. And the Purva-Paksha says, but there is need to practice Manonasha, is it not? There is a bigger practice involved. You are saying that to the Raksha of the Vasanakshaya will happen by, you are saying, you are arguing it should happen by Manonasha. My argument is that what if I practice Bhadiratva, Shandakatva and all those things, then automatically I can protect. Then you are arguing saying that, but if you practice Manonasha, that need to practice that itself is not there. Then I am saying, but I have to practice Manonasha, is it not? So, Abhyasa is some practice, Prayasa, effort is there. It can't be avoided. Let us read now. Nanu Manonasha Abhyasa Prayasaha Tatra api asti iti chet. So your argument of saying that there is no need to practice Shandakatva, Bhadiratva and all those things, because if Manonasha is there, if Manonasha is practiced, is not valid. Why? Because Manonasha Abhyasa Prayasaha. There is an effort to practice Manonasha. Tatra asti. In that case it is there. Iti chet. If that way, if it was to be thought of, argued, then what? Astu nama tasya avashyakatva antarena manonasham abhyasta api ajihvatvadayo nastira bhavanti. Ajihvatvadayo nastira bhavanti. Astu nama. Agreed. No objection. What is no objection? I have no objection if you tell me that even if Ajihvatva, Shandakatva and all those things, even if there is no objection, if you tell me that Manonasha itself, the practice of Manonasha, that the effort is there. If you say, I have no objection, Astu Nama, Tasya Avashyakatva. It is very important to practice Manonasha. It is very important, it cannot be avoided. In the attainment of Jivan Mukti, it is Avashyaka. But what about that argument, what I told you? That let me just practice Ajihvatva, Shandakatva and Manonasha and Vasanakshaya can be protected. If the entire Manonasha is only to protect Vasanakshaya, why can't I practice Ajihvatva, Shandakatva and protect the Vasanakshaya? Why should I practice Manonasha? The point you are saying is that Manonasha is required for the protection of Vasanakshaya. That point I have taken. But let me do it through Ajihvatva, Shandakatva, Bhadiratva, those 6 methods, not by Manonasha. No. You have to do Manonasha also. Why? Antarena Manonasham, without, Antarena here is without. Without Manonasha. Meaning without the practice of Manonasha, Abhyasta api Ajihvatvadayaha. Without the practice of Manonasha, if you take up just Ajihvatva, Shandakatva, etc., those 6 ones, Nastira bhavanti. they will not be firm. So even for ajihvatva, shantakatva, pangutva and all those things to be properly practiced, you require manonasha. Manonasha empowers your sadhana for vasanakshaya. And the sadhanas for vasanakshaya help you for manonasha also. And manonasha and vasanakshaya sadhanas help you also with tattvajnana. And tattvajnana helps vasanakshaya and manonasha. All of them are interrelated. Therefore, without the practice of tattvajnana and manonasha, ajihvatvadayo nastira bhavanti. You can't really practice all these things properly. It will only be a semblance of vasanakshaya practices. Vasanakshaya practices are empowered by manonasha practices. Vasanas become weakened if the power behind the vasanas, which is the sangha, it will be explained. When the power behind the vasanas are weakened. When mind is there, vasanas will be there. Vasanas could arise. Therefore, you weaken those vasanas by the practice of manonasha. In the same way, you weaken the mind by the practice of vasanakshaya. Parasparam, they help. Alright? Antarena manonasham abhyasta api. Even if they are practiced. What practice? Ajihvatvadayaha. Ajihva, Shantaka, Pangu, Anda, Badira. You practice them. Nastira bhavanti. They will not be firm, stable, full, mature, complete, fulfilled. Alright? Therefore, manonasha has to be practiced. Why is manonasha to be practiced? To make the vasanakshaya sthira. Why can't ajihva and all those 6 things be taken up as a means for practicing vasanakshaya? Yes, they are the means for practicing vasanakshaya, but to make them strong and sthira and firm, you still have to practice manonasha. Okay? This way he establishes the prayojana of manonasha. Now he gives citations from treatises, from Yoga Vashishta, Janaka says, and Vashishta says, then from Mandukya, Karika, Gaudapada Acharya says, etc., etc. Verses are cited in order to establish what he has said so far. We'll take this up in the next session. Shall we conclude?